you've ever searched fat loss meal plan over 40, you've probably been shown meals that look like punishment. Dry chicken, sad and dry salads, probably zero flexibility and absolutely no dessert. The truth is you don't need extreme restrictions to lose fat in your 40s, and you definitely don't need to cut out food groups like carbs or the foods you enjoy. I know that goes against most of the restrictive, fear-based advice out there, but I'm here to show you how real fat loss actually works in a way you can enjoy, sustain, and repeat for life. Hi, I'm Zita. I'm a fitness and nutrition coach, and with my partner Terry, a neuropsychology and body image coach, we help women and men over 40 escape diet prison, rebuild their confidence, get strong, and create a body they love through neuroscience, nutrition, and movement. So if you are tired of eat this, not that rules, and you want to see what a realistic, enjoyable fat loss day of eating looks like, including desserts, hit that like button and subscribe, because I'm about to save you from years of unnecessary restriction. So first of all, let's just acknowledge the cute slippers I'm wearing. They are so fluffy and they are so warm. Back to business. So part one, how many meals should you eat per day, and what about macros? So one of the biggest myths in fat loss is that meal timing matters more than total intake. From a physiological standpoint, your body responds primarily to total daily calories, which determines fat loss, protein intake, which determines muscle retention, and it's also a building block of muscle and other body tissues, enzymes, hormones, and cell structures. So whether you eat 2, 3, or 5 meals is totally personal, and what matters is that your weekly calorie and macro averages support fat loss. So why do macros matter, and why do I favor macros over just a calorie count? Now, like I said, protein preserves muscle and also builds a lot of body tissues and other stuff. It increases satiety and slightly raises thermic effect of food. Carbs fuel training and support thyroid and nervous system health, and fats support hormones and nutrient absorption, among other bodily stuff. But after 40, protein becomes a non-negotiable because muscle loss accelerates with age. And muscle is what keeps your metabolism responsive. When you know your macros, food stops being good or bad, it becomes strategic. That's where freedom comes from. So if you're wondering what would a macro breakdown look like for fat loss, I can't give you a definitive answer, as it is completely personal. It depends on your body weight, age, gender, medical history, yo-yo diet history, your goals in terms of, are you looking to lose over 20 pounds of fat or just about 5 pounds and build more muscle? Are you coming onto your program eating around like 1200 calories? If so, your macros will look different from those clients who went through your reverse diet phase already and now ready for a cut. For example, one of our female clients, Sharon's starting reverse diet macros were around 1300 calories, 80 grams of protein, 45 grams of fat, and 145 grams of carbs per day. But again, these numbers are meaningless to you because we had to keep her protein at the minimum due to medical conditions. And right now she's at around 1700 calories per day with 80 grams of protein, 60 grams of fat, and 210 grams of carbs. And these are not her final numbers. So why macros matter and why I prefer them over calories alone? Because calories tell you how much you're eating, and macros tell you what your body can do with that food. Protein, carbs, and fats each have different jobs. Protein preserves and builds muscle, supports metabolism, and keep you full. Carbs fuel your brain and training, and they also help regulate hormones. And fats support hormones, cell health, and nutrient absorption. So two diets with the same calories can produce very different results depending on the macro balance. And let's see, what do I eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I actually have 5 meals per day as opposed to 3, and one of them being my pre-workout meal or snack 1, and also have a snack between lunch and dinner. For breakfast, I have been having the exact same thing forever because I love it so much, which is Greek yogurt with berries and nuts. And now that I am in my building season and my calories are are back to normal, I also add my protein pancake, which I talked about a lot in other videos. So my breakfast is protein forward with slow digesting carbs for stable blood sugar and energy in the morning. And my pre-workout is built to give me the energy for my workouts, which is usually a few slices of rye vita. It's like a crisp bread with seeds, and then I top it with cream cheese and smoked salmon. And an oatmeal with berries, protein powder, egg whites, chia seeds, granola, and then some choc shot. And this combo gives me easily available carbs for training fuel, plenty of protein to support muscle with minimal fiber, and fat. At the moment, I have two different set of macros, one for my 3 heavy leg days and one for the rest of the week. So see what I mean by giving you a set of macros is meaningless to you. These two sets of macros work for me right now for a few weeks, then they will be changed again. Lunch. I've been eating the same lunch now for the last 4 to 5 months, an omelette with a salad and a bagel and some type of dessert. So lunch is basically my post-workout, and the omelette provides high quality protein for muscle building. The salad adds fiber and macronutrients, and the bagel gives me the carbs that provide my muscles with energy by replenishing glycogen stores, and they help to reduce soreness. Desserts varies. On very busy or travel days, I opt for a protein bar, but I keep processed foods to a minimum. So most days it's one of my homemade protein desserts like the Snickers cottage cheese cake or these blueberry muffins. I get satisfaction without triggering cravings or blood sugar crashes. My afternoon snack is usually cream of rice with berries, nuts and granola and protein powder to keep me going till dinner. And for dinner, I focus on protein because undereating at night often leads to late night snacking. So I choose lean meat like low-fat beef, chicken, shrimp, or fish. And depending on the meat, I choose the carb sources accordingly. So rice, potatoes, veg, and a homemade sauce. I make sure that I incorporate burgers and pizzas into my meal plan. These are homemade and they are so delicious, guys, so much better than the takeaway ones. And we showcased these meals in a lot of our other videos. And my dessert has been the same for the past 3 years. I call this the berry cake, which is basically oats, berries, some stevia, homemade applesauce, and some dried cranberries. And I pair this with some type of nut butter and choc shot, of course. So none of my meals are extreme, restrictive, or boring. They all have a lot of flavor, they are delicious, and instead of avoiding dessert, I plan it. When cravings are satisfied intentionally, overeating decreases. And if you're wondering why do I eat a dessert every single day and still burn fat? Well, because I love desserts, like who doesn't? Most diets fail because people lack discipline, but because restriction backfires. When you constantly tell yourself certain foods are off limits or these are bad, your brain interprets that as deprivation. This increases psychological stress and activates reward-seeking behavior, which is why restrictive diets so often end in binge eating, especially at night when willpower is low. Instead of treating desserts as a cheat, I build it into my macros. There's no such a thing as cheat. Why would you cheat on anything? So this means that dessert is not extra, it's not impulsive, it's planned for. So this completely avoid any emotional binge eating whatsoever. From a biological perspective, fat loss is driven by your total daily energy intake and macronutrient balance, not by whether a food is labeled clean or junk. When cravings are satisfied in a controlled way, your brain doesn't stay in a constant state of scarcity. This reduces overeating later in the day and prevents the binge restrict cycle that keeps so many women and men stuck. I was stuck in that cycle, so I know exactly how it feels. I'm here to tell you that you can break that cycle as well. Research in behavioral nutrition consistently shows that flexible dieting leads to better long-term adherence than rigid food rules. I want you to think about this as your lifestyle that you will keep for the rest of your life. This is not a diet that you will do for 4 weeks. A small intentional treat helps maintain consistency, and consistency is what actually drives fat loss. If your overall calories and protein targets are aligned with your goal, dessert does not slow fat loss. In fact, for many people, it makes fat loss more sustainable because it keeps stress hormones lower and adherence higher. So the goal is hitting your targets consistently, enjoying your food, and staying in control long enough for your body to adapt. The portion size of your dessert will depend on your personal macro breakdown and what foods you plan for the rest of the day. So for example, I would eat 1 blueberry muffin for lunch, and I would have a quarter of my oatberry cake for dinner's dessert, like I mentioned earlier. But keep in mind, your macros are unique to your body, and if you need help with your fat loss journey, we would be more than happy to guide you along, and then you can get in touch with us by using the links in the description. So finally, fat loss should fit your lifestyle, not the other way around. Check out this video where I explain how to lose menopause belly fat in 30 days at home.